Hi everyone and welcome to the Learning Lads. I'm really excited to be starting my new series, Prep With Me, for the new homeschool year 2021 for 3rd grade. I'm really excited to film these videos because it'll be great for me to look back on and see everything I did and everything else, and hopefully it'll be informative for you too. So, first confession, I've already started and I forgot to film. So I'm going to do a quick brief catch up of where we're at, so everything that I've done so far up to this point, and then I promise I will remember to film. Is, you know what it's like when you get in the flow, you just completely forget everything. I forgot to pick up my phone and record what I was doing. So I am going to make a conscious effort not to do that again. So I'll give you a brief catch up and then I'll start with everything new as to what I'm doing. What I'm going to do, I think, is do it as a weekly video. So throughout the week I'll film everything and record everything that I've been doing and then share it as one video for that particular week. If it's too long, I'll split it, but I'm hoping to do it as, I don't think it should be too long, I think it'll be fine to do it as one video a week, and then I can still post any other videos that I want to that week too, just because I don't want to bombard you with so many videos, because everyone's got a limited amount of time. So I don't want to waste your time. So that's how I think I'll do it, and then obviously if I need to adjust anything I will. So let's get started with what I'm up to with prepping for the new school year. One pile of things I've printed off that I need to organise. My current, this was not everything, I've already printed a lot off and removed them from my list of topics and little unit studies that I wanted to print off Twinkl. Twinkl is amazing at the moment because they've given so many of their resources for free, which is just such a blessing because of the coronavirus. So I have gone through and seen if any of the units on there matched what I had in mind for this year to add to it, and I've found a lot of stuff on here, so definitely have a look. So I've got all kinds of things here. So I've got some French units to go with our French. I have got some healthy eating units to go with our food, so our baking units, and also for our farming. So we've got field to fork. I've got some artist units. I've got European artists, British artists, and I've got fruit and veg art and bodies art, seaside art. And I've got some history units. So we've got the Great Explorers, the Great Fire of London, Vikings and Saxons, a Roman unit, an ancient Egypt unit. I thought they would go really well with our little Usborne books. If you saw in my book haul, I had the beginner readers well, it's not beginner readers, but because you wouldn't use those for a beginner reader. I can't think what I think they're called beginning readers, but they're not beginner readers. It's their non-fiction history units box set, so I thought they would go great with those, of Saxons and Scots. And then for history, I've got a couple of extras. So we've got the history of the railways, so a prominent feature of history that changed the world. We've also got some on World War I and World War II. A little introduction before we start those with our next story of the world. Then I've got some recipes from around the world. They'll go great with our geography unit. We've got a Stonehenge unit, Iron Age again. They'll go great with the Usborne reader books, non-fiction books, some European geography, country, landmark. So just tons. And I've got some telling the time, some for over the summer, so year 2 and then year 3, so basically 3rd grade and 2nd grade. And I've got a bunch of time ones to practice over the summer. Then I've got a bunch of maths ones, so money, counting change, multiplication, place value, challenge cards, so much. And then I've also picked some of their summer math mats and spring math mats. I thought they'd be great to do over the summer. And then some additional science units. So as you can see, I have just downloaded the zip. So I'll give you a little brief overview once I've saved it. Hang on. Okay, so let's have a look at what one of these units contains. So you've got your unit overview. So we're just going to click on this first. Sorry, knocked my phone. And it gives you, here we go, so fruit and vegetables. So we're going to look at drawing with pencil, paint. We're going to make some clay, peppers. We're looking at textile artists and some Italian painters. We're talking about health and safety. So I love this little plan it out. So it gives you a unit overview. So we're drawing peppers in charcoal, we're sculpting peppers in clay, we're drawing fruit and vegetables in colour, painting fruit and vegetables in colour, designing fruit and vegetable softies on fabric, and finishing fruit and vegetable softies on fabrics. That sounds so cool. I'm really excited about that. So once I printed the overview, I've clicked on to lesson 1, which is drawing peppers in charcoal. So there's a lesson plan, so I'm going to open that first. So again, it'll tell you your aim, your success criteria, what things you need. It's got some keywords in here, what you need to prep, your learning sequence, and some additional activities. So that's really thorough, and I love that because it's giving you exactly what you're going to be doing, but it makes planning additional things easier because you can look at it and think, okay, well, we're going to be doing that, what else can I pair with it if I need to, which is great. Then there's always a PowerPoint presentation. Hang on, let me just close this first. So there's always a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, look at that, it's so cool. So that's a still life with cheese and a still life, the table. It's lovely, I love it, this is so fun. And what a good pepper in charcoal looks like. Right, now I'm downloading the success criteria. Again, this is another great one for planning too. So it's breaking it down for you. Again, great for planning. And now it's got some additional, I'm just going to click on these to see what they are. So we've got some prompt questions in cursive, some prompt questions in precursive, and some prompt questions in print, I assume this one is. Let's have a look. Yeah. So we've got those as well. And I've just clicked on the photo pack. So it's got different images in here for you to look at. It's different. There can also be clip art in there. So if you go into, so that was the lesson 1. As you can see, there's 6 lessons in this one. Sometimes they'll have home learning activities as well. So there are 2 additional activities that you can do with this one. So let's have a look at those. So this is a wood textile artist. And then it's asking you to use your own fruit and vegetables for your own activity, for your own piece. And then this one is a poster activity. And then if you click on the additional resources pack, there are so much in these. So in this one, you have got a display banner. And then they'll give you different options as well for your banner as well, so different sizes, different so if you want it in cursive, in print, display lettering, so if you wanted to make a display on a wall or something, a display poster, more display posters. Should we have a look at some of them? Hang on. So we've got a display poster in cursive, a display poster in precursive, and then a display poster in print. Let's have a look at the one in cursive this time. Here are the posters. So there's line, self-portrait, form, patterns, texture, shape, tone, colour, structure, jagged, smooth. It's a different vocabulary. Wow, there are 20 in that one. So you've got page borders, word cards, if you wanted to put them on your word wall, a word grid, and I've been printing the grid ones to put into our binder. So that's what it looks like as a grid, but you can have them as word cards too, as individual cards. So then we've got word searches, writing frames, so for additional writing activities, and then we've got challenge cards, display borders, and fact cards. So I'm going to open these ones. So these are the challenge cards. I'm going to print those. Here's the fact cards. And on some of them you also have clip art pictures, and then artist paintings, obviously depending on what unit it is. It's just fantastic. I'm really impressed with it, and I'm having lots of fun printing it off. Clip art for the body. This is the clip art for the bodies unit pack, body art unit pack. It's just so cool. I love it so much. So what I've really tried to do is tie art again into, so to make it cross-curricular. So I've tied the art bodies into our human body unit study, and I've also tied in the food one into our farm unit study. So yep, those are the images for the bodies clip art pack. And then this is in the poster pack. So it's got the, what it is, the description on there for them. It's really cool. The vocabulary word on there for them. Just getting the seaside one downloaded. That's going to go with our ocean unit study. So this is what's in lesson 1. Here's the PowerPoint presentation for it. So we're talking about in lesson 1 drawing fish in pen. So our friend the sea, click the play button to watch the film. And then we can start drawing our fish. Lesson 2 is drawing shells, and we're also learning about some artists, Alfred Wallace in this particular one. Here's the PowerPoint presentation for this one. So we're talking about drawing shells in colour, and then we're learning all about Alfred Wallace. And then we're looking at some of his paintings. And then we're looking at some shell drawings. Yeah, that looks really fun. And in this one, they are weaving with plastic. Printing pile after what I just showed you, which has been a few days. So I'm going to organise that tonight. I'm also going to do our work boxes now. This is multiple subjects, it's not just one subject. And they're only printed on one side, not back to back, otherwise probably would be half of that. But because it was things to cut out and everything, it made sense to just print it on one side. And as I said, there's multiple subjects. Here we have got art, history, science, geography, French, things for over the summer. I'm trying to think what else is in here. There's tons of stuff. Unit studies. So we've got a giant pile to organise. Well, I have got a giant pile to organise. Wish me luck. To organise our work boxes now for next week. I'm just going to show you what I have already been working on. Once my computer comes on, it's just been doing an update, and of course I turned it on straight after its update, so now it's taking ages. But anyway, so I'm going to show you on the computer a little glimpse into my literature units, what I've been doing. But I thought I'd just quickly chat about my IT units. So I have downloaded quite a few things off Twinkl that are just general IT stuff. You know, different task cards and vocabulary and all those types of things to go with our IT unit. But I'm also making some of my own IT units. So if you've ever seen this series, it's the Animals of Farthingwood or read the books. I mentioned in a few videos back when I talked about the IT curriculum that I was going to make it based on a story. So this is the story that I'm basing on, the Animals of Farthingwood. So for anyone who hasn't read the books or watched the series, it's about a group of animals who have to flee their home due to urban developers taking over the woodland. And they are going on a journey to the sanctuary of White Deer Park. And it's, you know, all about what happens to them on their way and everything else. So I'm basing my IT unit around those topics. It's not going to, obviously, be exactly the same because of copyright, but it's just basically a group of animals that are having to relocate due to you know, a disaster, something similar. It's not a disaster, but they're having to relocate due to certain circumstances, and you know, what things that they would need to consider, the journey that they take and everything else. And I'm basing my IT units around that. The first 2 units I'm doing are a PowerPoint unit and an Excel unit. With graphing incorporated into that. So those are the 2 units that I'm working on first. But I just thought I'd share that with you because I mentioned that it was based on a story, but I didn't really elaborate more on that. But that's basically it's based around the Animals of Farthingwood. And thank you. This is Jemima, my daughter's dog, for propping up the DVD so it doesn't glare. Well, it kind of still does, but there we go. Quick, in case you didn't watch the video where I mentioned about my literature unit studies that I was doing, I'm using the Minor versions to do read alouds, and I'm basing my literature unit studies around them. There's one missing, and that's Pinocchio, because it's only just come out, I think. Or it's still on pre-order, I'm not sure. It's either still on pre-order or it's only just come out and it's still at full price. So I'm just hanging on, hoping that it'll go down in price for a bit, because obviously we don't start school until September, so I've got plenty of time. So I'm hoping to get it at a better price. But yes, so Alice, The Secret Garden, Peter Pan, Pinocchio when it arrives, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. If we have the opportunity, then I'll get the Jungle Book, but I don't know whether that'll be too much, so I don't want to push us too far. But if we do have the opportunity, I will squeeze the Jungle Book in too. I don't know how much you can see of it. So basically I just, because it might be a bit blurry, but hopefully not, I just made a long list of all the different activities that I wanted to make and consider whilst I was creating my literature studies. What I really liked about using classics is the vocabulary, specifically, because they use such a rich language. So that's one of the reasons why I picked classic literature over other books for my literature units. She will be doing some literature units that are not by me as well for her independent reading books. This literature unit study is specifically for read alouds, so I'll be reading them to her, and then we'll do all the activities to go with it. And then she will have some literature unit studies that I've purchased to do her own after she's read her independent readers that have been assigned to her specifically for the literature unit studies. I'm not going to do tons of those because I really want her to love to read, which she does, and I don't want that to change, and it not be, oh, you have to do this assignment, you know, once you've read this specific book. But I did pick a couple for her to do independently from her independent readers, as well as my literature unit studies that I've made for classic read alouds. Okay, so this is completely still work in progress, but I did use quite a few of my original templates that I used for my Alice in Wonderland unit study for the literature things as well, because why not, I already had them. So we've got the comic book template for the 4 books. I'll make it 5 once I get Pinocchio. Then we've got the letters, writing to different characters. I haven't bought any specific clip art yet, so I'm not planning on selling these yet. If I ever do, then I'll purchase clip art, obviously, because this is just for personal use. So I would never sell, clip art that wasn't mine or hadn't already purchased. So that's why I just wanted to explain that in case you're thinking, oh, you've used clip art, you're not supposed to do that. No, I know, and it's for personal use, so that's why I have used it. I'm not selling these, but if I ever decide to do so, then I will purchase clip art. So we've got, I had a roller story with my Alice, but I've just obviously changed them to correspond with the books. Then we've got some story writing templates as well. The acrostic poems. We will still do our movie night, so they are, can't talk. They are our tickets for the movie nights. She'll still do her book report templates as well as our little title sheet. And then this is a mini book, so we've got plot, conflict and theme, setting and characters. We've got to draw a costume from the movie, so draw a character's costume. We've got some chapter summaries. We have got a book poster, so design your poster for the book. We've got some recipe. We've got some map templates for her to draw some maps. Some newspaper ones, and I'm not going to leave those lines there, they were just for me to see how it would all play out. So she's got some newspaper articles that she can write. So this is the Neverland Post, so let's chat with the one and only Miss Tinkerbell. So the Secret Post is how to plant your secret garden. The Ocean Post is Sebastian shares his feelings about living on land, and the Library Post is the best books by Belle. So they'll get her started on writing her own little newspaper articles. Of course, we've got the Venn diagrams, we've got draw the ending. Those were all in my Alice unit study. Summary sheets too. Then we've got, again, the posters. I prefer them in landscape rather than portrait, but I just kept them there so that I wouldn't forget to use them and make them. Then we've got some character maps. I'm working on this right now, so how the feeling, thinking, goals and actions. I just need to change the design on those. They were just, rough idea. Mapping the plot. We've got some character traits. So yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment. Still very much a work in progress, but I'll just give you a little insight into what I was up to. Sustenance, Belgian bun and a cup of tea. Before I start on the mountain, mountain paper, that is, I just wanted to share with you 5 in a row mini units. So if you've never seen 5 in a row before, I'm sure most of you have. We used it in kindergarten. We absolutely loved it. It's a literature-based program that's cross-curricular, and you incorporate lots of different activities from reading a story 5 days in a row. As I said, we loved it in kindergarten, and they have now brought out mini units. Back in March, they were giving a free one on their website, so I grabbed it quickly, obviously, but there are lots of different ones on their website. It's a monthly thing. They're $10 usually, so it's a guide. This is the guide for the Hello Lighthouse. The reason I was so happy when I saw that this was the freebie is because I thought this will go great with our oceans unit. So what I'm going to do is pair it with our oceans unit study. So I'll just give you a quick look inside the guide. So it's the book by Sophie Blackall, the Hello Lighthouse, and it covers age ranges 2 to 12, so that's great if you've got younger, middle, older kids. And she gives you plans for all ages, which is fabulous. So this is the plan for the age 2 to 5, talking about play and how you can pretend that you're in the ocean with your toy boats and everything else, which I love. I'm all about play. Learning through play, it's a fantastic way to build understanding. So this is some book recommendations to go along with the younger age. Then we're in the 5 in a row ages 5 to 9, which is at the age range we're in. So this is a geography activity talking about where lighthouses are located. And there's some language activity, so talking about different ways the author uses words. And she mentions here having a choices that an author can make list, which I think is an absolutely fantastic idea, and I'm definitely going to do this. So basically when you read a book, you can talk about what specific tools the authors used to present the story, and then write them onto your list. And then when they're coming to write their own story, they can look back on that list and see if they want to use them in their own writing. I think that's amazing. Such a great idea. I'm definitely going to do that. Then there's some hands-on activities. So this is playing with a torch, and there's some artwork as well. Then for older students, it encourages you to dive deeper, and there's some math, addition and multiplication activities. Science is properties of light. There are some vocabulary words in here. There is the option to make a field trip, so a virtual or real field trip to a lighthouse, which I think is fantastic. And then we're in the older age range now, so this is 9 to 12. I love this idea of planning a trip to Newfoundland. That just sounds so fun. By the way, those dogs are the best, minus the slobber, but they are the best. I worked with that particular breed when I was younger, when I was in high school, and they were just the most adorable dogs. Huge and slobbery, but adorable. So these are the book recommendations. Completely tangent, but there we go. The book recommendations for the older age range. It also has a recipe in here. We have the 5 in a recipe book from when we were doing our kindergarten study, and it was so fun to follow a recipe after you've read the book. I still have a 5 in a row shelf on my main shelf that you'll have probably seen in my videos behind me. To this day, even though we did 5 in a row in kindergarten, we still pick out some of the books now, seasonally still. She has got some planning guides for you, some worksheets, and that's for your art activity. And then you get to put your disc in 5 in a row. You get to put your disc on a map as part of your geography unit, and that is the mini unit for Hello Lighthouse. As I said, I'm incorporating it into our ocean unit study, and I'm super excited to be using this year. I'm starting on the mountain now. I'm just taking a selection off the pile, and I'm categorizing them into different subjects, and paper clipping them. Then I'll hole punch them at the end and stick them into subject binders, so all the history stuff together, all the geography stuff together. And then what I'll do is, when I'm using our main curriculum, I will open up my folder when I'm doing my work boxes and pick anything out that I want to add from this stash or supply of extra resources. I just love these. Look how cool those mapping fact cards are. They look so fun. These are the ancient Egypt fact cards. Again, they look so fun. And then the challenge cards as well, and I really like these. So, your name is Cleopatra, you meet a handsome Roman stranger called Ulysses, or what do? You're an Egyptian farmer, your land floods suddenly. What are your ideas? It sounds so fun. So again, this will go with our Osborne history, ancient Egypt reader. Well, it's not reader, I say reader for things that my daughter reads when they're just regular books, but for her non-fiction ancient Egypt book from Osborne, from the history beginner history box set. Example of one of the worksheets from the ancient Egypt unit. So this is a modern Egyptian report about life in Egypt today. So you've got the geography things here. What do people eat? What does a home look like? What clothes did they wear? A reading exercise on hieroglyphs. These units came with PowerPoint presentations as well, which are fantastic. Instructions on how to make a mummy. To add to our history this year, we are doing a few additional unit studies, and one of them is a significant event in history that changed things, and I picked the railways. And a couple of things, if you're wondering how to navigate a site like Twinkl, where there's so much stuff on there, pick your unit studies first. That would be what I recommend to do before you start looking, and then you can just look for what you're specifically wanting. So for example, with this one, I put railways because I knew that was a unit study I wanted to do, and then everything comes up that they have under that topic, and you can then pick obviously what will go with what you're looking for, because it can be overwhelming to look at a site like that when there's so much information on there. The other thing, don't worry if you're not in the UK, you can still use this. The railways are still the railways, Egypt is still Egypt. It doesn't matter if the company's based in the UK. They do have American specific topics on their website too, but reading comprehension is reading comprehension. You can download ancient Egyptian unit if you're not in the US. It's absolutely fine. And if you think at the moment with all the libraries closed and things, this could be a godsend for you homeschool mums who are unit study based. And the other thing I want to say is I wasn't planning on posting this video until I posted my curriculum, but I'm actually going to post part 1, which is this, of my prepping video now, within the next couple of days, because Twinkl is still free. It's free for a whole month, and it's still free currently, so I will put the link below. So I'll post this video now, well, in the next few days, but the rest of my prepping videos won't be until after I've posted my curriculum video, which will be in June. So if you are enjoying this prepping video, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. If you are, thanks so much for staying with me. Hope you're enjoying it, let's carry on with prepping. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. If you're wondering how on earth I managed to print that huge gigantic mountain of paper, I have an Epson EcoTank printer. I have the 4500, so the 4500 series. Instead of a regular printer which uses cartridges, this uses actual ink. It has a reservoir on the side where you put the different colour inks in. You buy literal ink that you pour into each reservoir depending on colour. I always buy the Epson genuine ink, and it's around £7.99 per bottle. The black ink lasts for 4,000 prints. The colour a little bit less, but you can use the eco mode so it lasts. I actually need to, when I buy ink, I always buy black before I buy colour, which is completely the opposite to what a normal printer would be like. So on the eco mode, the colour ink lasts so long. You saw that big pile that I printed. I hadn't topped up my ink. I printed all that stuff, and I've still got ink left. I still don't need to top up. That's how amazing the EcoTank printers are. They're a little bit more expensive, not massively, but a little bit more expensive than your typical £30, $30 printer. But if you take into consideration how much those cartridges cost and how little you get for them, it's not worth buying that little $30 printer in the long run. So although you may pay a little bit more for the EcoTank printers, they last so long, and the amount that they can print. And as I said, £7.99 for a bottle of ink that can do 4,000 copies. There's no comparison. It's fantastic. Definitely consider getting one if you haven't already. They are the best printers as far as I'm concerned. I've been there. I had a regular cartridge printer in, I think it was either preschool or pre-K4, and I used to buy ink all the time, and it cost so much. Never again. Eco-tank printers all the way. Here's an example of another reading comprehension activity. This is on Stonehenge. It's differentiated, so they have various different, various different versions. Leveled readers, again with the questions. They have multiple different options for the questions, depending on level, which I really appreciate. Printed several of their we'll come to that in a second, several of their math organisers, so they call them knowledge organisers. This one is for time. I'm going to laminate them and put them into her math folder. And then this is their Living in the Wider World Money Matters unit study, so there are lots of different topics, from what is money to different types of credit and everything else, and I'm going to pair that with the Osborne Managing Money book for a social studies unit study. And so it's where does money come from, ways to pay, lending and borrowing, priorities, advertising and keeping track. This is a year 3, so grade 3 level, so it's not going to be too in-depth, too challenging for them. It'll be, grade appropriate, so I'm really looking forward to doing this unit study with her. Printed off their year 2, which is grade 2 maths activity mats. So for over the summer, I thought they looked really fun. So a little different activity mat each day. I also printed off their year 3 one as well. Got our art unit for the ocean, which I'm going to tie into our ocean unit study. So here are the fact cards. We've got some marine creature worksheets, some crafts, that's a building block fish. So this is a unit study on Florence Nightingale, amongst other nurses as well. I'm going to pair them with the DK Florence Nightingale book, which is very much like the Who Was books but in colour, and they are going to accompany our human body unit study. This is a mini unit study for the Titanic. It also includes menus for different passengers, different categories, whether they were in first, second, and so on. Tickets, so many different fun activities to go along with this very extremely terrible tragedy. But it is history, and unfortunately not all of history is pleasant, but I still think it's something that she needs to know about, and again, it's to go along with our ocean unit. Again, to go along with our geography units. Here is the lesson plan for George Washington Carver. This is in the Scientist and Inventors unit that I've downloaded. This is a bone bingo game in the Marie Curie unit as part of the Scientists and Inventors unit study. Again, if you've got an idea of what you're looking for, that's really helpful. I knew I wanted something to do with scientists and inventors, so it made it a lot easier to find stuff on there, and I'm just so excited with all this stuff that I found to go along with our unit studies this year. Hell's going down! It's going down! And if you're curious as to how I decide what unit studies, this one specifically was to do with the period of history that we're studying next year. I mentioned in my book club video that we are going to be doing animation as an elective this year, and I had a look on there and they did have some animation activities to go along with our unit. That is great. So there's an animation planning and storyboard, and then different software techniques. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing this too. I'll share with you a couple of things that have come in this week. So we have got the Magic and Mystery of Trees. This is a DK book and it looks amazing. I'm really excited to add this to our nature study unit. We've got so many different topics in here. And look at that. Wow. Flowers, fruits and seeds, leaves, trunk and bark, root systems, parts of a tree. I'm super excited about that. And then the other thing is 3 new sticker books that have come in. If you've ever seen the Big Book series, hang on. This is the Big Book of Bugs. We got this last year and they are just absolutely fantastic. But now they've brought out sticker books to go along with them. So there's bug in this series. There's bugs, butterfly, not butterflies. Read, that's because the word's there. There are bugs, beasts, ocean, birds and blooms. They've all got sticker books now, which is just so fun. The blooms one is not out and here until July. You can pre-order it, but it's not out, but the other ones are. So I don't know, I must have just buried them under a pile. I've currently got the ocean one and beasts. And then I've also got in another Usborne book, which is about birds. So my plan is with those to pair them with reading comprehension activities. So for example, you can do this reading comprehension about birds and then do the birds sticker book from Usborne. I went with the Usborne one because I already got it before previously, and I love it actually. I think it's a great one. Not that the Big Book of Birds sticker book isn't. I haven't seen it because I don't have that one, but I do have the beasts and the ocean and they are fabulous. Anyway, I was saying, so I'm going to pair the reading comprehension with those so she can read them. I do the comprehension activity, then continue on with the Usborne bird sticker book, which again increases more reading because there's a lot of reading in them, and she gets to have lots of fun and put what she's learned into practice, finding the birds that she's discovered in her reading comprehension in the Usborne sticker book. So that's what I'm planning to do with the reading comprehension. Not all of them obviously, but select ones, pairing them with the sticker book that goes along with the theme. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this video here for now. I'm hopefully going to edit it within the next couple of days. I might actually edit it tonight if I can and post it soon. As I said, I wasn't planning on starting posting these videos yet until after I'd posted my curriculum, but Twinkl is still free just in case you wanted anything. Part 2 of this, I think there's going to be several parts of this video. Well, I know there will be. It's not video, this series. So part 2 won't be until June after I posted my curriculum video, but then I'll be able to post them like one a week. So you can catch up on everything else that I'm getting up to with my prepping for the homeschool year. I think the series is going to be quite long. Maybe 5 or 6 weeks, maybe more. I don't know, we'll see how much content there is. Oh, that's the point. Let me know if you want the videos split, if you think this is too long and you'd rather have it split. I prefer when I'm watching videos like this to just pause if I need to do something else and then come back to it, rather than people splitting it into too many videos. But it's not me that's watching them, it's you. So let me know what you prefer in the comments below if you have a preference. If not, I'm just going to continue making it one video per week on this specific topic of prepping for the new homeschool year. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.